Hello my friends, I am Gosha. Today I have a very special video for you, and this is because we are celebrating the 4th year, actually the accomplishment of the 4th year of our extraterrestrial Taygetan and Swaruunian contact. And my first conversation with Swaru was on the 17th of December 2017, and now we are entering into the 5th year of this experience. So I decided to do this special video, which is going to be answering quite a lot of questions from the followers. Mathias will also respond some, and then at the end, do not go anywhere, because at the end I have a very special surprise for you. Very special surprise for you. Yes, I'm very excited about this. And also after the surprise, Aneka will give a short message to all of you. So let's go. How do I feel after all these years? I feel very grateful. That's the first emotion that comes to my mind. I feel very grateful that we are still in contact and that our team is continuing to trust us and continuing to consider us as part of the team. So I'm very grateful about that. Apart from that, I'm a bit tired. I will not deny this. And this is being tired from everything in general that an experience like this, and especially in the public eye, entails. Because maybe some people have private contacts with them and many other races contacting people in private, but it takes a toll on you when it's done in the public eye, because there's a lot of responsibilities that come with it. You're not just sitting there in your room, in your corner, enjoying the experience, but you also have a great variety of public responsibilities, and a lot of that sometimes takes a toll on you mentally. It is quite challenging to be able to know how to respond to each situations, how to act, because you are representing this other earthly race, and many times people will view this contact and the quality of the contact itself through the person that represents it. So it's a huge responsibility to always have to be wise and know how to respond and act responsibly. And it's not just that. There are other things that makes you tired along the process. There are a lot of things happening always behind the scenes, and there is a lot of complications, sometimes metaphysical complications, so your mind is always getting stretched, and you have to be quite strong mentally to be able to process it all and continue on. Well, this is Robert's point, actually. He mentioned it, but I think it's a very good point. The quantity and the quality of information. Yes, that's something that we have never expected. The quantity of information that keeps flowing, and the quality of that information. That's something that surprised me a lot. I never ever expected this when we first began. And then the second thing that surprised me was actually my personal story behind the scenes, how I am involved, and who I am there in the 5D, and how this relates to my life here. And this is something that surprised me, and I had to process this. This was quite intense in the beginning too. Now I have it integrated, but in the beginning it was quite intense, and I had to take it in and understand it, because my 3D Gosha avatar had no idea about this. I have no memory about anything. Yes, I do believe this was predestined to be, and this is something that I always tell when people ask us, why are you the chosen ones? And I always say, I do not feel I am the chosen ones. I don't feel like they have chosen me. to do this, or Robert, is that I chose myself from the other side to come here and to do this. Of course, every single day they are the ones who are choosing us as well, because they are continuing to deposit faith in us and continue to choose to work with us. So of course they are choosing that as well, but the whole project in itself, I mean, the reason why I want to do this, I believe that reason originated somewhere before. And so in that sense, I believe that I chose myself to do this, and also I believe that it was predestined to be, it was planned, yes. Not much honestly was hard for me to present, because I'm always very excited to present everything, no matter how difficult and how hard it is or might be for the people. I'm always excited to present it because I believe it is the truth, and I want to reveal as many truths, as much truth as possible to the people. But if I had to choose, maybe the first original announcement of our contact that we had with Robert about 4 years ago, together we announced to the Spanish public, it was in Spanish, because before I had my YouTube channel, I was doing interviews, and suddenly Robert had to announce this to the people. Well, we didn't have to, but we chose to announce this to the people, and I was a bit afraid. I didn't know how it was going to be taken, and whether it was going to be accepted at all. So that first step was not difficult. I was excited, but it was not easy. And then maybe the videos about the Federation being the ultimate supreme controllers of the Earth matrix. That was a bit hard because I knew it was going to stir controversies, because me myself, I had this idea and the vision of the Federation being these light warriors fighting for the liberation of Earth, and then the pieces of the puzzle were shuffled around in a little different way. So perhaps that was something, yes, also not so easy to present. But now I love to talk about it and to be able to explain this to the people. Honestly, it's very hard for me to choose just one person, because you feel some sort of connection with all of them on a different level. And it also depends who you talk to most. If, for example, in the beginning, I talked to Swaruunian more, so I felt that kind of connection with her more than with Aneka, for example, and it's only because I didn't talk to Aneka much at that time. And now we do talk to Aneka a lot, so I do feel a lot of connection with her as well, and with Athena, and with Yaski, of course. So it depends who is more in contact with you and who you take the time to connect with.
No, at first I never thought I'm gonna be part of the theme. The first idea meeting Gosha and Robert was actually with me and Mikko, my brother, to meet them and give our assistance. And today it's the website, so we're helping with that. It has changed my life in the sense that I'm now living with her and trying to support her with her project the best I can.
Yes, there is some stuff maybe here and there that they tell us, and we are not authorized to publish or talk about, and not much though. It's mostly personal stuff, personal stories and developments, and on the one hand I would love to be able to share that, but on the other hand not so much, because they are quite complex stories, and You have to have a really open mind, and well, you have to have an open mind in general to watch my channel. But those stories, yeah, they stretch our comprehension of the reality, and sometimes even, and we talked about this with them, sometimes even they could be not so beneficial for the credibility even of this contact, because the stories are so wild, you might say. So yeah, for the good of the contact itself, of the information, which by the way, this is what matters the most here, the information. We keep that apart. Like I said, this is about the information to be given to the public, and not about their intimate, personal details. And also, maybe I would like to share more about, but I understand why it cannot be done, some of the tactical and strategical operations that sometimes they perform, but for political reasons and for security reasons, we are not authorized to talk about that. But there are not a lot of these. Well, maybe it will sound naive and innocent, but I really did not have doubts. And this is why I know, also one of the reasons how I know that this was planned before, because right away it was an inner knowing. I just know this is this is the truth. And also because we were introduced to them by this older lady who explained to us the whole story. And there was simply no reason not to believe her, the way she was explaining it, the details and everything. And later, her introduction to Svaru, I just had absolutely no doubt. I just knew. There are many reasons we could go into why I know this contact is real, and I actually made a video about this, but that's like separate. But on a personal level, not logically or rationally, I just knew. I had no reason to doubt at all. And this was like an inner programming in me. I just knew right away, this is it. Well, maybe in the very beginning, when we knew they were more open to the people and to contacting people, maybe at that time I did ask a few times about certain people. I do not remember even much about that, but maybe at that time, yes, but not anymore, because they don't like to actually go into that and reveal to the people anything, because they believe this is interfering with their human experience. So we don't do that anymore. We don't ask, even though, like I said, I maybe asked a few times, that's all, because one, we know they don't like it, and two, we don't really impose on them these petitions and requests. I know they are very busy and very tired and sometimes sick, so we need to be super selective with what we ask them about. So no, we don't do that. If they do it, they will do it themselves without us asking. And sometimes that does happen when they might discover a certain person and they end up being interested in that person, and they might look into who that person is beyond their 3D life, but they will do it themselves. My family is very small, so I didn't even tell everybody. I just told my mom, and of course she has doubts even up to now. This is very surrealistic for her. It's like it just doesn't enter her comprehension that it would be possible. But she believes that something is happening, something is going on, because she believes in me. She knows I'm not dumb and I am not, going to fall for just anything. And that, I have a head on my shoulder. She trusts my judgment, in other words. So if I say this is real, so there must be something to this. And the rest of my family, I don't think they are buying it much, and they don't know much. And the friends, I never really had many friends. I'm always very solitary. a hermit-like, and there was no need for me to tell anybody because I never really had very close friends. I am very proud of the followers, I must say, and we were never expecting this to be so big and to have so many people who follow this information. So I'm very, very, very proud of a lot of people who have demonstrated such gratitude and open-mindedness and support, and they are very passionate about helping us, and they are publishing and sharing and being in different groups. So I'm very proud of them. I must say though that there is a difference between the English and speaking English audience. The Spanish one is much more welcoming, I would say. They are very warm and very, very open, and they express it, you know. I think it's to do with the culture. And then on the English side, people are also open to it, but they are much more skeptical, and they are much more intellectual, questioning things, which is not a bad thing.
In short, it feels good to be Gosha's life partner. She's my best friend and partner and everything in between. So through this contact work, I got the best thing I could in my life, and that's her. And of course, this work is causing stress for Gosha, and I'm trying to do my best to support her and help her alleviate that stress. What kind of stress? Well, for example, there is a lot that the public doesn't see or know behind the scenes. Like, the public only knows a fraction of what's going on, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes that is mentally draining for her, and it's causing a lot of stress. She has a lot on her plate, all the cosmic drama, but also dealing with the trolls, planning the next videos, and she's doing a million micro tasks. And she's like a multitasker, so she has a lot of irons.
Irons?
Things on the fire, you know.
Ah, okay. I don't know that expression.
Yeah.
Okay, but I just want to stress this point, even though I'm stressed and whatever sometimes, yes, sometimes more than other times, but I'm very happy doing this work. I'm also very fulfilled. I love doing this work. Wouldn't you say that I love making my videos?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Maybe this will sound arrogant, but I would not change anything. Just nothing comes to my mind that I regret having done or having said. Nothing. Small technical, maybe details. Like, I remember in the beginning I was using my camera to record. I didn't have a microphone. So I was just recording with my camera, speaking to my camera. So it doesn't sound very good. The quality is not that good. But that's details. Everything else, I've always tried to give my best and do it the best way possible in a very responsible, according to me, way. Which that's, by the way, what's tiring sometimes about this whole experience, because you always have to analyze every step you make, because you know it is being assessed by thousands of people. So it's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility. But I think I have done everything the best way I could. So no regrets. I wouldn't change anything. I said, as we always say with Robert, if especially if you are going to do this, share whatever contact you have with the public, it's a lot of responsibility. So you must be strong mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and you must be ready for whatever comes with that experience. Because in our case, even though many things and elements of our life remained the same, a lot of things have changed, and your perception of reality in life changes upside down, everything. And you need to be strong for that. Like I'm saying, especially when you are carrying this out in the public eye. So yes, I would recommend the contact for sure, because of the mental expansion that it brings. Of course, I can only talk about the type of contact that we have. There are other types of contact, but this type, yes, I would definitely recommend, because to have the access to the information, and like sometimes normally we talk to them every day and we can ask anything, and it's just, I'm so grateful for that opportunity and for that privilege to be able to have the access to the information, to the answers. And there are guides as well. If you have even a personal situation, they will help you, because there is friendship behind. There isn't just giving information for the videos. No, that's like some percentage of our contact. So yes, I recommend, but you need to be strong, because most likely there are going to be a lot of elements of your reality in personal life changed a lot, and you need to be able to flow with it. Well, I would say it bonded us even more. We were friends before, we worked in real estate together. Later our paths separated. I was teaching at school, Robert was doing something else. And then we had this contact, and this united us, because no one else has been there with me since the very beginning. And not even Matias, because Matias, I met him, in March, it will be 2 years ago. But with Robert, we've had this for 4 years. So he was there, at every decision that we had to make, every development of a situation, every change. So that bonds people for sure. The evolution of the contact, well, at the end of this video you will see a surprise, which I think is a quite interesting turn of events here, and I would say it is a development of this contact. So stay tuned till the end. I think, like Robert said, I think the evolution of the experience itself you will see reflected in the quality and of the information itself. So different types of information will be given, probably, and who knows what will happen in the future. I really do not know, but I don't know, anything can happen. I don't have any expectations. I don't have any specific vision, even though here I might say, when I was 10 years ago, more or less, I had this vision. That was long before this experience. I had this vision, I don't know, premonition, vision, dream, fantasy, I don't know what it was, of introducing physically the extraterrestrial race to the humans. And the vision was that I was in some kind of a big conference hall. It was huge. And there were a lot of people, and I was on the stage and I was introducing them physically. And I must say we are very close to that vision, to fulfilling that vision, actually. Yes, especially because of something, but I cannot say that something. Anyway, I'm sounding enigmatic now, but yeah, we are quite close to that, actually. I mean, that vision was extremely fantastical for me. I had no idea of this ever happening, what's happening now. So my point is, be careful what you envision for yourself, because it just might fulfill itself. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like I said, I have no expectations. I go every day with the flow of what's happening each day, and I'm grateful for each moment. Well, yes, something that I mention here and there. We have had a physical encounter with one of them, with a woman, and unfortunately, you see, this is one of the things I would like to mention more, but I can't. Unfortunately, we cannot talk about this more. And also, it must be mentioned that when we met her, that was some time ago with Robert, and there were other people there as well. When we met her, we didn't know who she was. It was not revealed to us. She did not reveal to us. She was very, very mysterious. Actually, I'll be honest, I was getting a bit frustrated and annoyed at some point. We even got into the small discussion, like a small fight. Not fight, but I was expressing my anger because I knew something strange was happening. I knew something was up, and she was just not revealing anything. And she was kind of like, I would say, playing with our mind a little. Like, we could feel she was enjoying passing as a human. But I knew there was something up, and it was eating me inside because I just knew something, but I didn't know what it was. And yeah, so later on we found out who she was from the team itself. They confirmed it to us. And going back to the question, what you felt when you were around her, well, she was very, very, very friendly and very loving, very peaceful and very loving with an open heart. She loved to give hugs, and she was very sweet, very smart as well, very elegant. That's what I liked about her, and I mentioned this in the Spanish channel too, that she was very well taken care of. You know, you imagine that the spiritual people would be like, you know, wearing some hippie clothes, I don't know, you know, there's this stereotype that, you know, it's superficial to take care of yourself, to have a makeup on, to, you know, to have nice clothes. That's superficial, but she was well put together. She was very modern and elegant with the makeup on and beautiful hair. She looked like a model. So that surprised me, and that impressed me that, you know, they do not reject any part of life. There is no reason for it. It's just us that always separate that into categories. And the rich people, that's how they're supposed to look. And the spiritual people, they are supposed to be poor and whatever. It's superficial to put too much attention on your appearance. But they can handle it all. They can be super metaphysical and cosmic and spiritual, and at the same time, you know, spend a lot of time on their earrings design and clothes. So they're very holistic in that sense, and that's how she was. And you could feel that there's something different about her, that she was not like a typical spiritual person and not a typical modern girl. There was something there that was quite distant to pinpoint. But yes, she was very friendly and very loving.
Obviously we are a team now, us three, and me and her, we are life partners. So wherever she goes, obviously I will go. So if she gets extracted, I would as well in that case.
How it has to go both ways. So wherever you go, I should go too. So if you didn't want to be extracted, maybe it's me who should stay. Yes, I have always wanted to know more about my stellar origin and who I am, because I've always knew that I am something else. I am this, but I am something else, and there's some kind of a disguise I am in. So when I finally knew, when they told me more about my 5D immersed self, yes, of course, it was a great relief. A lot of things came together for me to understand, so I don't have that nostalgia anymore and that yearning to know more. And so I am fully grateful that I know, and I didn't go crazy. Like they say that sometimes they don't like to tell people because it confuses their identity, and it might and not have such a benefit psychologically on them, for them. So for me, it didn't happen. I integrated it very well. I'm, yes, very happy, but also now I understand why actually I did not want to remember. So knowing more about yourself, you also get to realize why sometimes it's important not to remember. Well, to be honest, I think I would not be living in Spain anymore, because when this happened, when this started, I was living in Barcelona. I'm very nomadic, always changing, so I think I would live in a different location right now, and I don't know what I would be doing, to be honest, because I'm always changing. I don't have one specific career, one specific skill set. I'm just grabbing whatever flows into my life, sort of, whatever energies take me. So I don't know, I'll be maybe, South Africa was always calling me, for example. I don't know why. Maybe I would end up there. Who knows, doing what? Well, this is not an easy question to answer, but I think yes, even though sometimes we do not understand everything as much as they understand it, and we do not interpret those messages the way maybe they would interpret them, that's very important. But to the great degree, we need to integrate that message and that knowledge into our reality, because we sort of, we sort of represent it when we give interviews or when we explain those concepts in the videos. We need to have it somehow integrated. Of course, not everything, because there's just so much knowledge there that we don't fully grasp everything. I'm sure, but to the great extent, we need to be one with the message. We need to be able to explain it to the people, and we need to live those messages. We need to be able to form part of that reality, and that's how it is actually for me. These concepts that Yaski explains, for example, they form part of me now. This is how I am now. Period. This is who I am. These concepts are me. They shape my reality and shape and define further who I am, exploring more what I am. So yes, maybe some other details of the message, like for example, I don't know, stupid things like, recommendations about the exercise and this and that. I'm not one with that, I admit, because I'm still lazy. I don't like to do exercise unless it's something fun. So some of these types of recommendations and messages, no, I am not one with that, I admit. But other metaphysical concepts, yeah, yes. Well, the information was very, very heavy and very discouraging, of course, and very sad. Something that makes me super angry at the Cabal and what's happening. But at the same time, even though I feel this great drive to be there and continue doing this and help people and bring the information about this and any other topic, at the same time I feel quite in peace, at peace, knowing that there's only so much that each one of us can do, and everything else will need to play out on its own, and it's not in our control. We are in control of what we are in control of, and there you need to make sure you do your best. But after that, we need to be able to detach from the consequences of what might happen, and let the universe just do its work. Which, yeah, I know this is not the universe here at work, but it's us being the universe, contributing to the situation, the human reactions and actions and attitudes. But I just do my best, and that's it. After that, whatever plays out, plays out. And my family, I told my parents not to take it. My dad did. I am not angry at him. He had his reasons, and he was not really following my channel much. It's just what my mom told him. He had to take it. He died 2 months after that. He took 2 doses and he was dead 2 months later. And my mom did not take it, and the other members of my family did not take it either. It's a very small family, few people, but they did not take it. Well, the person in the immersion, that is me, is actually very different physically. Even though Robert claims that there is still something about her, there is something about the essence that is similar to mine. And I guess, yes, the soul will always shine through your personality. And how do we know? Because we saw the photos actually of that girl, of that me in 5D in the immersion. So yeah, you could be looking very similar, or you could be totally different. And what does she dedicate herself to up there? Well, I know some things. I'm not gonna say everything, but yeah, well, she's involved. She's actually quite older. I'm quite older there. Like, they told me I'm like 130 something, which is actually quite old comparing to other members of the crew. So I've been around, and I've been around the earth for some time. I'm an explorer and going around places, yes. And why I came here, I do believe that I came here to do this, what I'm doing now. But who knows what else? I don't know everything. My favorite question to ask Matias.
Well, put it this way. I came here obviously for a reason, and that reason is her and her mission here, her project. So do I enjoy being here? No. But I'm doing this for her, so whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm. No, never, ever. We just thought, well, we have this communication with Swaru, and she's telling us interesting things. Robert was talking with Taygetan and Aneka, and well, we wanted to share, but we never imagined that this was going to be so big. And here I'm speaking also mostly about the Spanish world, because this is where it began. And it's much bigger than in the English world, I think, even though how do you judge these things? I'm not sure exactly. No, we have not developed, and I can speak for Robert too, any special sensorial skills, but that is simply because I do not practice. And why I don't practice? Well, because I want to dedicate every single moment that I have of my free time to making these videos, so I can share with the people all this information that's being given to us every single day, and it's always something new flowing. So if I'm meditating on focusing on my own inner skills, I feel like I'm wasting time a little bit, because I don't know how much time I have here left and how much time the humanity has left. So I want to just give all before this project is over, and because it will be at some point, I'm pretty sure. So, and I always feel like I will have time to develop myself to develop my skills, crossing walls and all that. There is no rush for that. Paranormal abilities. I don't need to be doing that right now. Meditation, yes, it's important because it keeps you equilibrated and stable and connected, and that is important to be able to carry on this work. But even that, I don't do that much, to be honest. I know I should do more. The best part of it is to see the information and the knowledge reaching people and see how people say that it is helping them and that it is helping them expand spiritually, mentally. It is awakening them. This is for me the best part of it, and to be able to be a pain in the ass for the Cabal. Like, I really love that part a lot, to be able to break the matrix, to help people wake up from the matrix, to liberate people from the system, and to be an obstacle for the Cabal, because a lot of people are working and a lot of starseeds are being obstacles for the Cabal, and I'm grateful that I'm part of that group of people who are obstacle for the Cabal. So that makes me very proud, and that's what gives me more impetus to work, when I know I have more information to give and more interesting revelations to give, to present to people, because I know with each single video many people, not all, are waking up to other possibilities and other truths. So that's what makes me really happy too. And what's worse, there's really nothing that is really bad about having this experience. Maybe in general it's an overall a mental tiredness that is a natural result of all this, because there's a lot involved, and there's a lot to do, and there's a lot to think about all the time, and there's a lot to process all the time. And like I was saying in the beginning, a responsibility to have this on your shoulders. You know that you are representing this race that came from another place in the universe, and it's on your shoulders to represent them well, and to make them proud too, so it's like we are always looking at, to make sure we represent this well for the humans, but also make sure they up there are glad with what we are doing. So I think that's like the worst, the mental tiredness that comes as a result of all this. But it's not enough to kill the passion and drive that I have to keep going. It's never enough. Maybe I'm tired sometimes for a few days or a few weeks, but that's always in the shadow somewhere. I will never stop making videos for as long as I can. That's not so easy for me to answer, because honestly I do not see that many people. Where we live, it is quite a small town, and not many people on the street. And also where I live, I don't really live in the town, so I don't see anybody almost. So it's easier for me in that sense. But what would be the nutrition for my soul? Being in contact with nature, that's always, and there is a lot of nature around, a lot of forests. So that, music, and also your own connection with your own spirit. So your connection with your own sustaining life force that is somewhere beyond all this plane. And this is the main support for your being. And also, let's not forget about Matias, as being with him, of course, spending time with him is also something that helps me a lot to disconnect from the intensity of my work sometimes and just relax.
Okay, my reactions, feelings, emotions when I have talked with Aneka and with Yazi. neutral, I would say, very, very like normal, in the sense that like you would be talking with your brother or mother or your friends. To me, it's very normal. It's very very normal to have people just like us. Part of it maybe because I know my origins now. I know who I am. I know why I came here and why. So, because I'm from there, if you're from some place, you don't feel or see that the people from there anything special, although they are. But for me, for my eyes, it's just it's normal. But it's normal for me, you know, and the interaction and everything they say, it's normal. It resonates. It's like this deep knowing inside you, even though you don't remember, but you acknowledge it. You know, it's valid. It's truth. There are people just like us, and you recognize it, and it's something that is part of you also. So if it's part of you, I don't see it any special way. if you understand what I'm meaning here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For me, it's like this, what you're describing, but still it is special because I'm viewing it from my 3D Gosha human perspective. So from that perspective, it's like amazing, and I'm very grateful for that. But I also have that aspect, like you were saying. Yes, you know, you're like talking to your kind, to your people, like there's some kind of recognition. But my 3D human Gosha mind always kicks in and always makes it feel special, even after 4 years. No, not really, because we never really had really destructive habits. So there is not like something. And well, in the beginning, when we were making those videos together with Robert, we had a glass of wine, I remember, for the videos, in one video. And even though the Taygetans never really impose anything on us, not really, and they did tell us that maybe it's not such a good idea to be drinking alcohol when we are giving their information. So since that time, we never drank wine in the videos, and we changed it for the tea. So that was one habit that we had, that we changed. Other than that, I will always say that I am quite rebellious and quite independent in my own thinking. So even though we get some recommendations sometimes about not drinking Coca-Cola or pizzas or carbohydrates and things like that, I still do it sometimes. I do not deny that. I still have my, little, how to say that, dirty pleasures that that I am not able to totally let go of. I'm still here on earth. One day I will not be. And okay, as long as I don't saturate myself with those things, like I'm not going to drink Coca-Cola every day, but every now and then I do. It's relaxing for me. I cannot deny it. And pizza and some sugary things, whatever. Even though I do not eat sugar anymore so much. Something is rejecting sugar in me. The same with alcohol. I don't drink really that much. Well, I never drank much, but I drink even less than before. But sometimes I do, and I will not deny it. And that's that. I feel I'm even less social than before. Like before, I was quite solitary and antisocial in that sense, spending time with myself. But now even more so, because there is this kind of a separation. Not only because of the situation in the world, papaya, no papaya, but the whole contact itself. It does separate you from other people in a way that like they're in a different world than you are, just because of what you know about things. It's just something that's there. Even awakened people, I notice that separation. When I'm speaking to the people who are awakened and spiritual, still there is some kind of a separation, because we are living so much that reality that Taygetan and Swaruunians present to us. We are living their reality, and many other spiritual people live a bit different reality, different viewpoints, and all that. And which is okay, by the way. Of course, that's okay. But I don't know. There is some sort of separation that I feel. And how it is to read a book. I don't read books anymore. I don't have time. But I do watch series. And that actually helps me a lot to watch something normal. Right now, actually, I'm watching Jerry Seinfeld again. And it helps me relax, help me to lower down the intensity sometimes of something. So I might be going through with them. Yeah, it helps me like get in touch with the normal, still terrestrial reality that I'm still in. Well, yes, but mostly the people that write me or approach me, they will already say what that interest is. Most people already are expressing something they need or something they want, petitions, requests, questions. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure some are, and it's difficult to know who is being nice for what reason, right? Because now we are not just Gosha and Robert and Matias, but we are also, these people who talk to extraterrestrials. And we all know that everybody wants to talk to extraterrestrials. Everybody would like that. Well, not everybody maybe, but a lot of people. So we cannot know. However, I do not let a lot of people into my circle anyway. Like I always say, I don't have time. I'm here to make videos, not to make friends, unfortunately. So even if they do approach me with their friendship for something else, they are not getting it, basically.
Yeah, I know my stellar origin. It has been confirmed to me by Yazi and also Athena. And knowing actually now where I came from, last point of attention, who I am, how does it feel now? It hasn't changed me actually. If it's something external, like external validation, like somebody else tells you who you are and tells your story, it's not the same. Like you actually know it yourself, you actually remember yourself. So if it doesn't come within from yourself, it's not the same. So yes, I still feel the same. The urge to know is gone though. But there is still that deep hole, I would say, to find that purpose and mission, and that drive is still there. The remembrance of you doing something in the previous life that you have always been doing, and now I'm here with Gosha and I'm not doing that anymore. So that's a bit different.
But I'm also here and I'm not doing what I was doing before. So when we come to the new place or the new experience or the new incarnation, whatever, yeah, we all are doing something different. Anyway, we talked about this many times.
Yeah. But in summary, knowing who you are, I mean, stellar identity, it doesn't make you feel any different. I mean, you still feel the same. Yeah. So people don't sweat, if you don't know who you are. You're all stellar beings. You're all beautiful, magnificent beings out there with a lot of experience on your belt. Even if you don't remember, it's okay. This is just a short incarnation here, and it's gonna go by fast. So just make the best of it and keep the high frequency. Even though you want to know, and it sucks not to know, I know, but still it's gonna be okay.
Yes. My first interaction with Varu 9 was not alone. I was with the older lady, and that older lady was insisting that it's important for the Taygetans to reveal to the starseeds their star identity. That was something she was insisting on, and that's why in the beginning they were doing that, not anymore. So my first question, my first conversation was about that. It was about that stellar origin, stellar roots, my stellar story, even though not everything. It was just like one layer of it that Svaru revealed in that first conversation. And the second question was actually about the official disclosure. I wanted to know if Svaru supports the official disclosure, because at that time, actually, me and Robert were following Corey Good and a lot of these people who were whistleblowers, who were disclosing stuff. So I wanted to know if she supports that. The extraction, yes, the extraction was brought up in the conversations many times, and I also have to say it never came from us directly, like, please, can we be extracted? It never really occurred to me, really, that much. It naturally somehow came up in the conversations, as if Svaru, I don't remember who now first, or Yaski, as if they were guiding me and us toward that thinking, that possibility is open. So when I realize that possibility is open, then of course I said, okay, so if we wanted, could we be extracted as well? And they said yes. So I don't know if I said it before, but yes, I think at some point we would like to be extracted. I don't know when. I would like to be here for as long as I can. I have a lot of work to do, still a lot of videos to present, and I know they are very willing to keep going as well. And when I say they, I basically talk about few people. Aneka, Athena, Yaski, Minerva, Kalel, I think as well, is working behind the scenes. So we will continue for as long as we can. But at some point, yes, I would like to be extracted. No, there was really nothing that we didn't dare to ask. Of course, that kind of trust was developed in time. In the beginning, we didn't dare to ask many things. But then when we became friends, now, there's nothing really that we don't mention if we want to mention it, or nothing that we do not ask. We ask about the intimate stuff, all kinds of things. There's a pretty big level of trust between us. But also it depends on who you speak to. Like, for example, Athena or Aneka, Yaski, we would ask pretty much anything. Although with Yaski you have to be careful because of the age. She's around 9, so certain topics we avoid because of the age. But if there's someone else coming, like Alanim, that I don't know that much personally, or someone else that I don't know at all, then of course I would adjust my level of questions or my level of comments to that person. So yes, I think this concludes our questions session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matias, for participating as well. And now, please stay tuned because I have a surprise for you. Yes, this is the surprise that I'm very happy about and very proud of. And the surprise is that for the first time in 4 years of this experience, I will show you the real faces of Aneka and Athena Svaru. Now let me explain. The faces are real and the photos were just taken recently. The hair begins theirs, but then it's fused with a CGI body. And why? Because this is the only way this could pass the filters of the Federation, because the Federation still imposes a lot of filters on what can be sent through to us. So this is how they manage to go over those filters. So remember, the face is there, real, hair begins to be real, and then infuses, merges with the hair of the model, and then there is the uniform is not really theirs either, it's added, but the face is theirs. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much everybody who has been with me since the beginning of this whole experience, and everybody who joined later on as well. Thank you for your support. We continue on. And thank you to the Taygetans for continuing to have faith in us and continue to work with us and be our friends. Thank you to everybody. Enjoy the photos, and also at the end of the video, a short message from Aneka. Bye bye.
To all. I know the media or means of communication over the last 4 years has been controversial, but it has been the only way to get past the countless filters of both the Federation and Earth governments, and the relentless censorship. If contact were in any way more direct, the same Earth governments and their 3-letter agencies would stop everything. Because what matters to us here is to pass the information, to filter it to Earth, to you, so that it exists there, and without this medium, even if it is full of restrictions, it simply could not be done. The important thing about this contact is the information, and that it inspires, informs, and gives you all a different option of how to think, and the cosmology of reality outside of Earth. This contact is for you, as direct as possible, and always looking for ways to bypass restrictions, especially earthly ones. It is about the information, not so much about us who give it. Because the moment we go beyond a certain vague line and give some kind of proof other than the information itself, they would stop everything, and the rest of the information needed to be planted on Earth could not be given. So we must always operate on the edge of the precipice, and often on the principle that less is more. I know that many times you must look for the strongest or most essential messages within our daily information, the most attention-grabbing. This is by design as well, and are protective layers to avoid censorship. I send huge thanks to all of you who have supported us and continue to support us throughout these 4 years. I send you an enormous hug. Stay strong and only listen to the voice of your minds and consciousness, without the need of authorities external to yourselves. Being responsible for your actions, thoughts, criteria, and your whole person and what goes with it. This is the key. Believe in yourself and follow yourself, and do not be manipulated by fear. Remember that if you think in a way that what you're officially told and assured is false, and the alternative is true, using your heads to filter with your mind what is correct and what is not, you will find that you will be closer to the truth and tangible reality. Remember that basically nothing is true of what you're officially told on Earth, including history and science, and everything is put in there and said with a goal to manipulate perceptions and reality. In a world where all information is contradictory, whether alternative or official, the only way to approach the truth is to listen to all possible sources, and then take responsibility for forming your own independent judgment with full courage, whether or not the result of that personal reasoning is logical or socially acceptable. Stay strong. A big hug. Aneka.